I also don't like running into random people in public and then being obligated to engage in
I
conversation.
fucking hate it.
And then, you know, especially when you see them in a place like a grocery store or something, and then you run into them at the till again, and it's like, oh, hey, again.
You're just gonna
like,
crisscross up and down the aisles.
Yeah.
Like, there's no avoiding them. I deeply fucking hate that.
I think I'm just antisocial.
No, I'm very antisocial. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm very antisocial. I have to be so prepared for any conversation I'm going to have.
Yes.
Even with my friends. Maybe this is hella neurodivergent. It probably is, but it's like, that's why I don't like answering the phone. Like, don't just call me, because I feel like I'm going to need to commit to something that I may not want to commit to.
Yep.
Whether that's just a conversation or whether that's a obligation later down the road. It's like, I need all the information up front so that I can craft a response properly.
Yeah, I need to think about it and really think about it, because I don't want to say yes to something and then I hang up the phone and then I'm just like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's actually more obligation than you think, or just more effort. Or also, on the flip side of all that, I also do like spontaneity, and some of the best times I've ever had in my life have come out of spontaneous one-off things. Like, Paige and Karanda came down one Friday to do something, and they basically like kidnapped me and took me back. Very impromptu, was not planned. One of the best weekends I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, it was fantastic, was not planned. But if they'd asked me on a different weekend, I might have been like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I also don't get FOMO. I really don't.
Really don't?
No, I absolutely do not get FOMO whatsoever.
Oh, that's where we're different.
It's definitely come with experience as an adult. I for sure got FOMO as a kid. Now, I don't care. Like, my entire friend group could go out and not ask me, and it would not bother me in the slightest.
Wow.
Yeah, it does not at all.
That's very mature of you.
It just doesn't, I don't get it. Like, I'm quite happy at home. I know that if I had been invited and had gone, I would have had a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also have a great time being alone at home.
Yeah.
So to me, I didn't miss out. It was just a path I didn't take.
Yeah.
So there is that.
I love being at home.
I do too. I really do.
Like, if I'm just hanging out with the dog or the birds or Steve, like, that's all I need.
I saw a thing the other day. It was probably a TikTok or a post or something, and it was like, the only time I leave my house is to travel out of the country. And I'm like, that's the kind of level I want to be at.
That's fair.
Like, keep my little sanctuary, have all my wonderful things, and, you know, my Cody and my Buffy and all that. And then when I leave, it's to go to the airport to go somewhere else.
That is nice.
Like, that's the level I want to be at.
That's fair. We're so adventurous.
I'm antisocial. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
I want to see the Coliseum, but do I want to see a person there? Absolutely not. I want it to be for me.
Especially not someone you might know.
No. Oh my God. Bad enough running into someone at the grocery store. Can you imagine? You get all the way to a different country. You're like, there's no way. And then all of a sudden you hear, oh my God, Dina, is that you? And you're like, oh God, no.
Okay, so we're never going to start the show.
No, it's fine. We'll get into it.
I went to Florida a few years ago.
Yes.
And I went to like, not, I don't know, Disneyland or Disney World over there, whatever.
Yeah.
But they, like, I didn't want to go in because it's so expensive and I hate lines and I hate people.
Yes.
So I went to like it's like an outer part of it where it's still like, there's lots to do. There's food, there's stores, whatever, but it's like a short version of it. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Excellent.
I am in Florida. Who do I see? But this lady who, like, she's like maybe 10 years older than me, but I knew her from when I was a kid.
Oh my goodness.
And we became Facebook friends, whatever. And one day I used to have a Chinese crested, rest in peace, Remington.
Aww.
And he was a unique looking little guy, cute as a button.
Yeah.
She commented on a picture of him and said, he's kind of ugly.
Oh my God.
And I don't know you. We haven't spoken in years. Like, we're not friends. We're barely friendly. And so at that moment on, I was like, you are my enemy. Your kids are ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you don't
absolutely.
just like randomly roast my poor little dog, call him ugly.
God.
And so I see her. Girl, the way I ignored this woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got that Facebook message later that was like, are you in Florida? And I was like, no.
No, never been, never will be.
I've been posting about it.
Where's Florida? Don't
for
know
like
her.
days, but like, no, that wasn't me.
And you know what? No regrets.
No, I don't care.
No, I sleep just fine.
Oh yeah.
As they say, I sleep with my bare ass out so that it can kiss my ass if it bothers you that much.
Exactly.
Oh my
And
god.
she made this comment probably, like, 5 years prior. She probably doesn't even remember,
No.
but bitch, I remember.
I think about that a lot, how one person's flippant remark stays with you for the rest of your life, decades later,
Yeah,
but to them, they didn't give that a second thought, and I'm sure we've done it
of
too, right? Like, where
course,
you've said
yeah.
something to someone or whatever, and you go on with your day, don't think ever again about it, but for that person, it's like, "No, fuck you,
Yeah,
dude."
you don't insult someone's dog like
No,
that,
absolutely not. Not even like, no, absolutely not.
right?
Anyway.
It was justified. Hello, everyone, I'm Dina.
Hello, I'm Charlotte.
Welcome to the Grimm Curriculum Extra Credit Breaking News.
Yes.
Breaking news. Huge shithead, terrible human being, ugly ass motherfucker,
Oh.
Bryan
Oh,
Kohberger,
yeah, fuck
sentenced to life
this
without
dude.
parole for the Idaho student murders. So we talked about him
A long time ago
eons ago
now.
because this whole trial has been
3
going on
years, 4
forever.
years?
First things first, I didn't want to look into the trial too much because it was so complicated and so long. I knew
Mhm.
I'd get obsessed and I'd be
Yes.
like watching it every day. So the amount of sympathizers that he has that are like, there's not enough evidence, or like, there was someone else there, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm just like, this is the person there are innocent people going to jail all the
Yes.
time,
Oh
but
my
this
god.
is who you're going to defend? This Ted Bundy ass wannabe horse like man, because he is disgusting. Anyways, so he was sentenced to life without parole. Like I said, it is 4 life terms.
As it should be.
He's not going to get out.
No.
So this never fully went to a jury trial.
No, it didn't because he pled guilty.
He did because he didn't want the death penalty.
Yes, there's also rumors of the fact that he didn't want to have his parents stand up as witnesses as well.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could
so
definitely see that. So, I have a bunch of comments here. I want to talk about some victim impact
yeah,
statements
let's get
because
into
some of
it.
them are very
Oh,
powerful.
yes.
But one of the things the judge said,
Mhm.
because I love how much everybody hates this guy.
Oh, I don't think I mean, don't get me wrong, serial killers, I can say, universally hated individuals,
Yes.
except for the few freaky people out there that, whatever.
We
But
can't say that because then we get comments saying that we're kink shaming, which we did when we did our hybristophilia episode.
yeah, we'll leave that there.
Mhm.
Um, but he was for what he did, I mean, it spread so fast. We knew so much right off the
Yep.
bat. That entire town. In fact, it was so bad that they literally had to search far and wide for a courthouse that would see his trial
Yeah.
because they couldn't find jury members that would be unbiased towards him.
No, and I don't think that they would've.
No, I don't think
I
so
really
either.
don't. But one of the things that the judge said is, and I'm paraphrasing this, but essentially the judge said, "I'm really glad that you decided to plead guilty and that this didn't have to go to a full jury trial because to be honest with you, I don't even think you would tell the truth."
And he's right.
Yeah.
I completely agree with him. This fucking and I keep hearing him referred to as BK. I hate that.
Oh
I
my
I
god, I
just I
know.
get it because you're saying his name over and over and over again, so you wanna shorten it, but I don't like that it's becoming a bit nicknamey,
Mhm.
BK, BTK,
You
if
don't
you
get a
will.
nickname.
No, fuck you, dude. You gross, slimy and then, yeah, let's talk about those frickin' victim impact statements because they roasted him to hell and back.
Yes, but first I just wanna add one little
Yes,
detail that I
sorry, go
saw,
ahead.
because some of the news articles were like, "What is this mysterious piece of paper that he's had next to him? What is he, like, drawing? What is this? Like, what does he have?" So, the entire sentencing hearing,
Yes.
he is sitting next to a picture that I'm assuming he drew of a black heart.
Oh, grow up. Step away from the edge, motherfucker. Go listen to some My Chemical Romance. What
Isn't
are
that
you doing?
ridiculous?
Oh, grow
And so they
up.
were, like, trying to figure out what it was. They finally did, and they get this, like, picture of, him with the piece of paper, and it's just a giant black heart, and it's not just a heart, it's, like, detailed,
Like
he's worked on it.
anatomical kinda thing?
No, 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 it's just got some designs in it, you know what
Oh,
I
like
mean?
a
Like,
tattoo.
basically, and I'm
Ugh.
just like, "You are the biggest loser ever." So the surviving roommates, because people did survive these attacks, which
Yes.
is harrowing, and families of the victims delivered emotional statements at the hearing. He pleaded guilty earlier this month, so this was just the sentencing again to spare him from the death penalty.
Mhm.
He listened when he was confronted with the statements. At the very end, they asked him if he had anything to say.
Mhm.
He said, "I do not." So he
Yep.
didn't even want to
I think
be
it
a man.
No, I think at the end he said something to the effect of, "I respectfully decline."
Yes.
Kinda kept his mouth shut about the whole thing.
Yep. The judge called him a faceless coward
Mhm.
and said that he was in great awe of the family members who had given statements, because I cannot even imagine how hard that is to do.
I heaven forbid you or I are ever in a situation where we have to stand up and give statements like this. But I don't think I could stand up there and do it. Not because I would be scared to, but because I don't think I could physically stop myself from trying to kill him.
No.
Like I the fact that the roommates and siblings and family members got up there and were as poignant as they were, but
Yeah.
also clear spoken.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think at one point, we'll talk about it, sit up straight when I'm talking to you.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep.
yes, yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
The judge also said he couldn't legally force him to explain why he committed the slayings, and said that he didn't believe that he would even tell the truth
No,
when asked. So again,
absolutely
the
not.
judge sees right through him. Everyone sees right through him except
Yeah.
for a few idiots online. So I do appreciate that it's not a Ted Bundy thing where the judge is saying, "I would have loved to have you practice law in front of me, or stand up young man." This judge is like, "You're a loser."
Well, and because he was caught very quickly within committing these murders, there's probably, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out necessarily because this was a very violent act that may have been, committed before. Maybe
Mhm.
we don't know about that yet. There was some suspicious stuff in his past as well. But it's not like, as far as we know, he has bodies hidden somewhere that we need to convince him to talk about.
No.
So, he has no currency to bargain with at this point. So it's like, nope, you've been sentenced, rot in hell for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
One of the people who delivered an impact statement was Bethany Funk. She lived with the students, and she was the one who called 911
Oh,
after
okay.
finding the
Yep.
bodies. The statement was written by her, but it was read by her friend, which, I mean, that's a good friend right
Yeah,
there.
no kidding.
She said, "That was the worst day of my life, and I know it always will be." She added that she now checks her room every night to ensure there's no one hiding there, and that she's struggled to sleep since the slayings. He still showed absolutely no emotion throughout any of this. And I mean, the survivor's guilt, too.
Oh my god.
To,
And there's a lot of people out there giving the survivors a hard time in certain ways, and
yeah,
I don't agree with that
no,
either.
not at
Can you
all.
leave these poor people alone for God's sakes?
Yep. The next one to speak was Dylan Mortensen. She was the other surviving roommate, and she was visibly distraught. She took several minutes to collect herself before she started to read her statement. She says she struggled with panic attacks since the attack. She
Yeah.
said, "I was barely 19 when he did this. We had just celebrated my birthday at the end of September. I should have been figuring out who I was. I should have been having the college
Yeah.
experience and starting to establish my future. Instead, I was forced to learn how to survive the unimaginable."
Jeez.
Olivia Gonzalez, another one of the sisters of the victims, she said that her sister would have called her exactly what you are: sociopath, psychopath, murderer. She only referred to Bryan as defendant, and asked a series of questions that she said reverberate violently in her own mind. She said to him, "Sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sister? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at the time. If you were really smart, do you think you would be here right now?"
I mean, so true.
Yep. She said that he is as dumb as they come. She also added, "No one thinks that you are important. The truth is, you're basic." Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you matter just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see right through you.
Absolutely, girl.
Her father, Steve, said, "The world is watching because of the kids, not because of you. No one cares about you. In time, you will be nothing but two initials forgotten to the wind." He called him a joke and basically described how easy it was for them to actually track him down.
Mhm.
He said, "Police officers tell us within minutes they had your DNA like a calling card. You were that careless, that foolish, that stupid. Master's degree, you're a joke, complete joke."
I like this for a lot of reasons, but because there is this sort of stereotype perpetuated by movies and such
Yeah.
that these serial killers are very, high IQ, intelligent
Yeah.
individuals. And let me tell you, that is not the case. There are very few true high Q serial killers out there.
Yeah.
I think they all want to be. They all think that they're
Yep.
these forensic geniuses. And of course, they're the ones that are going to get away with it because they're better than everybody or whatever. But he's no smarter than anyone else. She also says the fact that you attacked sleeping people,
Yes.
any one of them would have kicked your ass
Mhm.
if you hadn't had them in the most vulnerable position you can be in as a human
Yep.
being, right? Like, he's not smart. He's not clever. He's not strong. He's a
No.
loser.
And with that, I mean, when you're looking at high IQ serial killers, the one that we know of with the highest IQ, Ed Kemper,
Mm.
still an absolute idiot. And that's the
Bumbling,
thing. We
yeah.
never want to paint these people as, these conniving evil geniuses because they're not. And that's
Mm-mm.
something that I really feel like we try to show in every series that we do on these guys is that if you are a serial killer, you're stupid. You're nothing. You are a low life.
There is something that has gone horribly wrong up in your brain
Mhm.
for whatever reason that has made you this way.
Yeah.
And as again, whether it's within 3 days of your capture or 30 years of your
Yeah.
capture, it comes around eventually because of a mistake you either have or will eventually make.
Yeah, or your third cousin's sister's kid who ends up
Yeah.
submitting a DNA test and suddenly they catch you.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna get caught.
Eventually, it all comes back around.
Kim Kernodle, the aunt of Xana Kernodle, said that the loss of her niece first spurred anger within their family, but that it did bring them closer. She said, "You united us with your actions. We have family and friends now that we never knew we had." She did offer him some absolution,
Oh,
and she is the one that I've noticed has taken the route of sympathy in her healing,
okay.
which we will never judge someone for how they choose to process guilt or how they heal or what they need to do in their minds to
Mhm.
be able to be somewhat okay with these actions.
Mm.
So, what she said to him was, "Bryan, I am here to tell you that I have forgiven you because I can no longer live with the hate in my heart. And for me to become a better person, I have forgiven you. And anytime you want to talk and tell me what happened, you have my number. I'm here. No judgment because I do have questions that I want you to answer. I'm here and I'll be the one that will listen to you, okay?"
I mean, I don't think it could be me. We've talked about it before.
Yeah,
It wouldn't but who can say until you're in a situation like that, honestly? But I think there's an incredible part of her that is very brave and I don't know, a lot kinder than I would be for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that she in her want of answers,
Yes, that's
because this is
exactly what it
so
is.
incredibly senseless that this person just decided one day to do it,
Mhm.
that to be like, "Look, I can set my hatred and my rage and all of that aside because I just wanna know."
Yeah,
I can understand that
I
100%.
get that, and I mean, if showing him some form of kindness means that one day, even 20, 30 years from now, you're going to get those answers, I get where she's coming from, and I
Yeah.
absolutely respect that, but again, I it's not the response that you would necessarily expect. Mind you, there are mothers of people who were murdered who end up becoming somewhat friendly with their killers because they feel that sympathy towards them.
Yeah.
And again, takes a better person than me,
Yeah. Not me for sure,
you
like,
know,
ugh.
I can definitely accept that,
Yeah.
but I understand where she's coming from and that I'm sure in her heart she believes that by showing him some kindness, he may come to her one day.
That's true. It truly makes her, I mean, anyone would be, but it makes her a better person than him than he will ever be.
Oh, absolutely.
So, the other thing too is that people are often wondering that we don't really have the answer to is why he targeted them specifically. They wonder if it was just that was a random house that fulfilled his need to commit murder or whether he had some attachment to one of the victims.
Yeah.
They're really not sure. I think one of the very few things they have so far is that one of the victims worked in a vegan restaurant and Bryan Kohberger is also a vegan and that
Mhm.
he may have seen her there. But apart from that, they can't really figure out a connection between them, like why he would have targeted them specifically. They might get answers from him one day, but that's really up to him.
Honestly, I'm not sure, 'cause I have seen some articles that say that they're saying that there was proof that he was tracking them in some
Mhm.
way.
Yeah, stalking them.
Exactly, but I mean, again, if he doesn't talk, we're not gonna know.
No, he could just be genuinely a sociopath who decided, "I wanna feel what it feels like to kill someone. There's my easy targets."
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to equate him to Ted Bundy, 'cause I don't think I feel like that is something that he would enjoy.
Oh, for sure, he'd love being compared.
But it's very similar to his last series of murders where he just broke into a college dorm room
And went
and
ham.
went ham.
Yep.
Again, the victims that he had, they were sleeping in their beds when he attacked them. So, as much as I hate to say it, there are a lot of similarities. But to me, that just makes him a serial killer fanboy. And that is not a good category to be put in.
Nope, absolutely not. Rot in jail for the rest of your life, Bryan
I hope he
Kohberger.
has a terrible time. I hope the vegan food in there is horrible and he is miserable.
I mean, it's, far from us to be able to see the outcome, but there's a lot of people on social media talking about how he may not live as long as his life sentence suggests. But, that's up to the other fellas that are in there.
Well, like we know, sometimes serial killers get put into jail and they do get killed in
Yep,
jail.
happens a lot. I mean, shall we transfer very briefly to Willie Pickton?
Yes.
And so, this is just a very, very brief update, nothing too detailed. But as you guys will probably remember, back in 2024, Robert Willie Pickton, notorious Canadian serial killer, who has been in prison for a number of years
Mhm.
already in Quebec. Another inmate, Martin Charest, shoved a broom handle through his brain and ended his life back in 2024. Martin Charest has now been sentenced with murder of the murderer, if you will.
Mhm.
I believe Martin Charest was already in prison for, a life sentence. Now, it's a Canadian life sentence, to do with that information what you will.
Mhm.
But yeah, just a little brief update. The killer of Willie Pickton has been sentenced to another life sentence. So, you know,
Should have given him a high five.
honestly, I when we were kinda looking it up briefly before we started, I hesitate to call the murderer of a murderer, because it just, in my, I think he was kinda doing us everybody a favor, personally. Um, but that's an ethical question, I
It is,
suppose.
and I will say we're definitely on the same page when it comes to
Yeah.
it. Willie Pickton, there were whispers of him someday soon getting out on parole, which
Yeah.
we know the Canadian justice system can be a little lax. I wouldn't have been shocked if he got out. Look at Karla Homolka.
Mhm.
But there's a part of me that just wants to believe that this guy somehow heard that and was like, "No."
I think not, Willie Pickton. The other unfortunate thing, if true, is that supposedly there was gonna be some kind of big tell-all situation where Pickton was going to name a lot of people that partied at Piggy
Mhm.
Palace, and that maybe, he was somewhat of a scapegoat. I don't say scapegoat in the sense that he is innocent and was just sort of used as a scapegoat. I
Yeah.
mean that there were definitely other people involved and that he might have spoken to those identities, potentially.
It is a known fact that members of the police force were at the
Mhm.
Piggy Palace.
Yeah. So, I mean, how much do you see and choose not to speak about?
Mhm.
Were there politicians? Were there,
Yeah.
higher up level of law enforcement? Who is spending a lot of time at the Piggy Palace partying with all the Pickton brothers and all the other nastiness?
And his brother is just as bad as him.
Just as bad, but no one seems to talk about
No,
him.
I have seen posts come online
Mhm.
over the last couple of years especially
Yeah.
that say, "Hey, Dave Pickton is now living in this area. Be careful around him.
Oh
People
god.
around him tend to go missing. They tend to die."
No!
He is, I wouldn't say as dangerous necessarily as Willie was, but he is also a criminal, and that is a
And free
proven
and
fact.
out. Oh my god. Yeah, so,
We're gonna cover him one day.
we'll have
It's a
to.
big case,
Yeah.
but little, tidbit of information, when he was young,
Mm.
he hit a boy with his car.
Yes, he did.
And so he sees that he's hit this kid, and he goes straight home to his mother and says, "I just hit this kid with my truck."
Mhm.
The mom drives back, pushes the kid into a ditch.
Yep.
Later, it is revealed the cause of death was not being hit by a car,
Nope.
but by drowning,
Yeah.
and he basically gets away with that.
Yeah, and mom too, for
And
that matter.
mom!
So, apple's not falling far from the tree in that case. We'll talk about it one day. You guys, I'm sure, must have heard of it already,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you'll know some of the details, but this, I mean, ugh, it's really nasty.
Mhm.
And to be honest, we've covered a few nasties recently, so we'll probably take a break from that, the British nasties especially.
We're gonna start exploring some other
Yeah, we
countries.
need to we're gonna get our passports and go, a
Yes.
little further afield, I
I have
think.
a Russian lady I wanna talk about soon, so we're gonna
Oh, very
broaden our
nice,
horizons a little
very
bit.
nice. That being said, 2 other updates real quickly. If you're keeping an eye on the volcano activity in Iceland,
Yes!
as of, excuse me, July 16th, so a couple of weeks ago, another fissure volcano began erupting near Grindavik that we've talked about many
Oh my
times already.
god.
Um, Everything's safe. It's safe to travel and visit Iceland right now. It's not particularly dangerous, but it is still ongoing. There's new fissures that crack open all the time.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't go there right now.
No? I don't think it would bother me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It
That
everyone the videos and everything that I've seen, everyone's just, like, super chill about it. They're just like, "Yeah, we got another one."
that's not the right response. That is the start to, like, a sci-fi, like, horror thriller where
I
everyone's like, "I'm gonna go on
guess.
vacation to see the volcanoes,"
And then
and
it
then it
really goes.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but yeah, Iceland's just given her,
Yeah.
so, that's ongoing. Another thing I just wanted to talk briefly about that we talked about quite a while ago now is a quick update on Erin Patterson, who was that Australian woman who, tried to murder her basically whole family with poison
Oh,
mushrooms.
yeah.
So she was found guilty. Let me just, we'll do a quick overview. So it was from the small Victorian town of Morwell in Australia. They had heard some evidence that Erin had hunted down some death cap mushrooms, and she made her family members little individual beef Wellingtons.
Mhm.
Did not serve, obviously, herself or her 2 children the poison mushrooms. 3 people died in the hospital days after the meal. So this included her former in-laws, which were Dawn Patterson, who was 70, and Gail Patterson, who was also 70, as well as Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson, who was 66. Local pastor Ian Wilkinson, who was Heather's husband, he did survive after weeks of treatment in the
Oh, that's
hospital.
rough.
She was found guilty of the triple murder.
Mhm.
They've gotten it all. They found the dehydrator where she dehydrated the
Oh my
mushrooms.
god.
They went through her phone, which she had quote unquote wiped, but obviously they still
Mhm.
found things. They reckon it's going to be a life sentence for her, but the legal team on her defense side has 28 days to decide if they are going to A, appeal the
Mhm.
sentencing, or B, appeal the fact that she's guilty or not. So,
Really?
yes, but the experts in the matter seem to think that she will serve a complete life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Maybe she'll be with old Nana,
Oh,
Catherine
there's a
Knight.
good possibility because
Yeah.
I think Erin, she's 50 now,
Mhm.
and they're saying with a complete life sentence in Australia, she'd be in her 80s before they even talk about the possibility
Yep.
of parole. I would imagine there's a good chance she might meet up with old Catherine Knight. There's more than one prison in
Of
Australia. We're
course.
not so naive as to think it's still the penal colonies, you guys.
I like that idea of the two of them in jail together.
I
They would not get
It's
along.
not out of the question.
No.
So I guess quick update there. She will be sentenced in the next few days. We'll keep an eye on it to see how long it's going to be in the future. So yeah. Now we're getting kind of long in the episode here. So I have either an old timey or a gross medical one. We could talk about either or, and I could bring one up another time because they're not time sensitive.
I'm gonna go for old timey.
Okay, let's do it. I think you're gonna really like this.
Okay.
I named this particular segment "Old Timey Little Shit."
Ooh.
The Boy Train Wrecker.
Okay.
So this is going to take us back to 1905 when 12-year-old, I think appropriately named Royal Grimm,
Oh my god.
intentionally derailed a train with dozens of passengers simply because he wanted to see in person what he had read about in his books and magazines. Yeah.
Oh my god, the media strikes again.
Dude, as I have I'm going to tell you a little more about Royal and what he did, but then I am going to read directly from the newspaper article back from May 7th of 1905 because it's fantastic.
Can't get over the name Royal Grimm.
Royal Grimm, Grimm.
That's a badass name.
So he was the son of a prominent resident of Groveton, which was a suburb of Pittsburgh. He was young and immature, but the extent of his carelessness reached shocking levels on April 1st, April Fool's Day,
Oh my goodness.
of 1905, when he intentionally derailed the Cleveland Flyer train because of his desire to see a real wreck up close and personal. Like I said, he had read about such crashes in his books and magazines, but really wanted to see with his two little eyeballs what it would look like in person.
He needed some GTA in his life or
I
something.
guess in 1905, you know what? They're always like video games these days. Well, back then it was books and magazines.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
On the afternoon of April 1st that year, the train, with dozens of passengers on board, jumped the rails and continued down onward for about 100 yards, narrowly missing going down a steep embankment into the river.
Holy crap.
Thankfully, they did slide to a stop before any additional damage was done. Police were soon on the scene and launched their investigation immediately. They identified Grimm pretty quickly because, like most agents of chaos, he had to return to the scene of his crime.
Of course he did. How old is he?
12.
Oh my god.
He was found amongst the crowd staring at the carnage, and they were able to get a confession out of him pretty much immediately. He admitted that in order to witness a real crash, he had intentionally placed iron bars, coupling pins, and railroad ties, the big wooden
Oh my god.
planks on the tracks to see if it would cause such a situation. So this is now from the San Francisco Examiner from May 7th, 1905. It begins. One Master Royal, once in a great, while some boy, by his loathing of what is orderly and quiet, insists on providing for his personal edification of a catastrophe of this kind. Such a boy is little Royal Grimm, aged 12 years, whose train-wrecking exploit, together with the motives which impelled him to do the deed, and his emotion at different stages, are set forth on this page in his own language. When the boy told his story, he was in a cell in the Pittsburgh County Jail, charged with derailing a Pittsburgh Lake Erie passenger train near Groveton, a short distance outside of Pittsburgh city limits. So, Royal goes on to say, for quite a spell, I went down to the tracks regularly, till I got where I could stand near enough to touch the cars. I wanted to see how a real smash-up looked like as they whizzed by. Then I got tired of it. Nothing happened. It's a lot of fun to stand on the track still. The engineer blows his whistle at you, but he don't like it. So after a while, I had to quit that. So this kid is getting his jollies by standing on the railroad tracks until the engineer's like, get the fuck off the tracks.
He's a little Batman villain.
Absolutely a little shit. And he goes on to say, after he had set up his whole calamity situation, because he said basically he was going down to the train tracks every day in various places and basically sitting and waiting for a crash to happen. Like, he was day in, day out, staring at trains, praying that they would fly off the
Oh
rails.
my
So
god.
finally he was like, "Well, I'm sick of this. Nothing is happening. I'm gonna cause the crash." So he goes, "You bet. I didn't miss a thing. The locomotive just skated up on her wheels, buzzing backwards. Before she struck, the engineer jumped out of the cab window. I had to laugh. He landed like a frog and went head over heels half a dozen times, and all around the air was full of the stuff I'd piled on the track. It was almost as I thought it would be. The locomotive and most of the cars left the track and went bumping over the ties with their ends knocking together. Through the windows, I could see the passengers all piled up. All their legs and arms were flying about like anything. It would have made you laugh."
He's a little Pee Wee Gaskins.
100%. And get this, he's not even like really satisfied with what he's done.
Oh
He goes, "But I was disappointed too. Not one other person saw the engineer jump. All of them cars jumped on top of one another. They made an awful racket bumping over the ties and into each other. But after all, it was a bum smash up. For a minute, I had the hopes that the locomotive would tumble over the bank into the river. Of course, that'd drown a lot of folks if I had wrecked it there, but it was my only chance. Yes, you're right. I was bound to have that wreck. I thought maybe the passengers would come out all right somehow. I thought the Cleveland Flyer would make the biggest smash up.
my god. I am shocked.
In the end, no one was hurt.
Good.
Thank God.
Yeah.
He did spend some time in prison. I'm not really sure what happened to him after this. I did look up to see if, anything came of
He
him.
became a congressman.
There's a very good chance, honestly. He said at one point that when he was waiting for the train to come, he was like so anxious and buzzing that he kept thinking he could hear the train coming. And so he'd get all excited, but the train wasn't coming. And then it occurred to him very briefly. He's like, "Oh shit, people might actually get hurt." And he's like, he thought about going up to take all the shit off the tracks,
Mhm.
but then the train was actually coming, so I didn't have time.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
Wow.
12-year-old Royal Grimm just derailing trains because he felt like it. So
I love that story.
I hope that he got to some kind of therapy or something. I mean, in 1905, you really don't think so, but I think he could have been a little sociopath
I
for
completely
sure.
agree.
Because at 12 years old, you know.
Oh, you know not to derail a train.
You know. Like, it makes you wonder, like, at home, was little Royal Grimm, like, capturing birds and cats and doing awful things? Like,
Well, I just picture him. He's like watching these people flying around just laughing, and then it's over and he's like, "Eh."
yeah. He was literally like, "Oh, I thought it was funny that the engineer jumped out, but no one else saw him do it, so was it really worth it?"
Yeah.
You little shit. This isn't Jackass.
Oh my god.
These people didn't consent to be a part of your
No.
tomfoolery.
I love that story.
Yeah, Royal Grimm.
Oh, you're gonna hate this story.
Oh, no. Oh, well.
All right, this one is from South Korea.
Oh.
Prosecutors have issued a public apology to a woman who was convicted for defending herself during a violent sexual attack in
Oh.
1964.
Good heavens.
She is now 80 years old. She was 18 when she bit off a piece of the tongue of a 21-year-old man who was trying to sexually assault her.
Oh, God.
She was convicted of aggravated bodily injury and sentenced to 10 months in prison. Her alleged attacker received a light sentence for trespassing and intimidation, and prosecutors dropped all of the assault charges against him.
Oh, man.
She was originally inspired by the Me Too movement and campaigned for her conviction to be overturned for years. So basically, what happened was she was attacked, sentenced to only 10 months, and they just kept her for 61 years.
What? And he got off scot-free with
He got off
very little.
scot-free.
Oh my god.
So she petitioned for a retrial in 2020, which was 56 years after the attack, and was rejected.
What?
But 3 years later, the Supreme Court gave the go-ahead. And I'm going to say right now, she's still not free.
What is happening?
She said outside of the court, for 61 years, the state made me live as a criminal. She was seen embracing those who were there in support of her and raising her fist to say, "We won." She said, if the prosecution is admitting its mistake even now, then I believe justice is alive in this country. A final ruling is scheduled to take place on September 10th with the expectation that the court will overturn her conviction.
I sure hope so. 61 years for defending herself against a violent assault?
Mhm.
And he gets off with nothing.
Mhm.
Except a chunk missing out of his tongue, which
Yeah.
quite frankly is very lenient
Yeah.
considering. And that after all this time.
Yeah. She tried to petition numerous times in the past. She was rejected.
Oh.
And finally, she is hopefully getting some justice.
She better be out before the end of the summer, honestly. What the hell? That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
South Korea, do fucking better than that. Jeez.
Pissed me off.
No kidding.
But with that, it is time for our latest strange and unusual death.
Alrighty.
This one involves a chainsaw.
Oh, I don't like chainsaws.
This is from an article that was from November 19th, 2008.
Okay.
It says, a man cut off his own head with a chainsaw in a carefully thought out suicide because he was irrationally opposed to leaving his repossessed home. His name was David File. He was 50. He consumed a small quantity of alcohol but no drugs and arranged the chainsaw in such a way as to facilitate the suicide.
I was going to say, because especially these days, chainsaws have safety features
Yes.
where, like, if you were to drop it, it turns off immediately. You know, things that are in place so you don't rip through your own limbs and stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, yikes.
His elderly parents, John and Jean, raised the alarm when they couldn't contact their son in his ground floor housing association flat in Hampshire.
Oh, God.
Police were called and they broke in, asking the parents to stay outside. He was found in the lounge with blood splattering the walls, floor, and a cabinet. The coroner said to the officer, "It must have been a huge shock to you." The sergeant responded with saying, "In some ways it was, sir."
Yeah, I bet it was.
There was a hearing and they heard that the block where he lived was going to be demolished. And despite great efforts from the housing association, he had refused 11 offers of alternative accommodation. And eventually it went to court for them to repossess the property. At the time of his death, he did suffer from mental illness and he had attempted suicide before. He was the only person who was still living in the building with the rest of the other properties boarded up. There was a verdict of suicide, and they said that the housing group had done all they could to help him, but that he was irrationally opposed to moving. The coroner said, "In the 15 years I've been sitting as a deputy coroner, this is the most bizarre case I can recall. It is an appalling way to take one's life, but that is what happened in the case." He thought how he was going to commit suicide very carefully. He went through a great deal of trouble. I think he did it to draw attention to the injustice of his situation.
Well, I think he's more or less hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, suicide's not a thing, obviously, we entertain as mentally well human beings, shall we say that. Like, if that's occurring to you, something's going on there. But to go that far as to be that violent and to leave a scene, a picture of what has happened to whoever is going to discover or find you, it's such a shitty situation because you should never have, it should never have happened like that anyway. I am thankful that there was no one else in the vicinity while it's happening. But good heavens, a chainsaw.
That's a horrible way to go.
Not on my top 50 ways to go, for sure. Yikes.
Yep.
That's sad.
If you have a strange and unusual death that you want us to cover, email us at thegrimcurriculum@gmail.com. There are new ones happening all the time.
Well, just like the majority of the topics we cover, we're never going to run out, unfortunately.
Nope.
People, whether it be by accident or on purpose, find new ways to remove themselves from the planet all the time. Just when you think you couldn't think of something wilder, somebody comes up with something wilder.
It's true.
Inadvertently or on purpose. Like killing yourself with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it as always. Don't forget to follow us on the socials.
Yeah.
Listen to a few episodes after this because it's good for your soul.
Mhm.
And make sure you check out our Peter Sutcliffe Yorkshire Ripper series, which is in progress right now.
You betcha. It's horrific, it's gruesome, it's heinous, but it's fascinating and interesting, and we think you'll still enjoy it in the strange way that we grim people enjoy these things.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for listening. This has been the Grimm Curriculum.
Extra credit.